So, do y'all remember when I said to you that I had more disturbing stories to cover here on the channel? Well, here's another one, and I apologize in advance that we're even having to talk about something this ridiculous, but this is what happens when you vote for a dude who was only running for president to stay out of prison. And this is what happens when he then surrounds himself by loyalists who will do his bidding, and they have absolutely no experience whatsoever in their department, but he just turns it over to them and says, have fun with it. You see the entire thing. You go back. I mean, if you go back to 2016, so many people have said to me, I voted for Donald Trump back then because I was just so tired of the status quo. I was tired of the same old way of doing things. I just wanted to see someone shake things up, or I just wanted to see someone burn it all down. And the whole burn it all down thing never really made much sense to me. And it sure as hell didn't make sense when I watched them in 2024 just double down on what they meant in 2016 and vote for someone who was literally going to take a chainsaw and a blowtorch to all of it. But that's where we're at. The people that said they just wanted to shake things up and burn it down in 2016, they meant it, and they came back in 2024 with every intention of doing just that. I'm going to read you this very disturbing article here from MidasNews.com. Before I do, I want to thank everyone for continuing to support me here on the channel. It's growing like crazy, and I really appreciate all of you. So if you haven't already and you enjoy the kind of content that I do, be sure and hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment, and if you feel like getting in on the conversation, if you don't, leave a blue heart. It'll just help to boost us in the algorithm. But folks, this is a real headline in 2025, and I catch myself saying that so many times. And I'll tell you this, back when I was in grade school, if you'd have told me that when I grew up, I would be sitting in front of a computer reading this story to people all across the world, I would have said there's no way that that story will ever be truth. But unfortunately, here we are, and you're reading that correctly. Marjorie Taylor Greene promotes measles parties for kids amid deadly outbreaks. Measles can cause brain swelling and pneumonia. A child in Texas has already died. This story is by J.D. Wolf from the Midas Touch Network. Oh, here we go, folks. It's so frustrating to me to have to sit and read this stuff, to be honest with you, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is such a vile, disgusting human being anyway. So is RFK Jr., so is Trump, and now to hear this and read this out loud is truly disturbing. We should be talking about other things right now. We should be talking about progress, and I'm sure we would be talking right now about all the crazy things that that they were trying to come at Kamala Harris for. But I would rather be dealing with that than to be dealing with this shit. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a prominent Republican congresswoman and staunch ally of Trump, suggested a return to measles parties for children. In a quote tweet, Greene amplified a video contrasting a Brady Bunch clip portraying a relaxed view of the measles with a clip of a measles outbreak on Law and Order. Marjorie Taylor Greene says right here, watch the entire video. They used to have measles parties. Basically, you get all the kids together. I can't believe I'm reading this. They used to have measles parties. Basically, get all the kids together so they all catch it and develop immunity. Then when I was a kid, they did the same thing with chicken pox. Now they demonize parents who try to vaccinate their kids. And she played this ridiculous clip here. Oh, so that tweet posted by an account that has promoted Flat Earth captioned the clips, how we handled the measles then and now. Of course, it came from a post that would be posted about Flat Earth. Greene commented in her quote tweet, I already read that. Watch the entire video. Ridiculous. Greene promoted past practices where parents would intentionally expose their children to the measles and chickenpox to build immunity. She criticized contemporary attitudes toward vaccines, stating, now they demonize parents who refuse to vaccinate their kids. This is terrible. Measles is a highly contagious and potentially deadly disease that can lead to severe complications, including pneumonia and brain swelling and even death. Before the widespread adoption of the measles vaccine, the United States experienced approximately 400 to 500 child deaths per year from the disease. Encouraging measles parties for children undermines decades of public health efforts aimed at eradicating the disease and poses risks not only to unvaccinated children, but also to vulnerable populations such as infants and immunocompromised individuals. The recent resurgence of measles outbreaks in multiple states has already resulted in the death of a child in Texas. And folks, stop and think about this one long and hard. We got RFK Jr. in there to look over this whole thing. The guy who says this is just normal, happens all the time. No big deal. Nothing to see. Everybody go back home. Go back to bed, America. I can't believe we're sitting here having this conversation in 2025. I never thought that one day my entire life would be made up of sitting down and doing videos like this. And don't get me wrong, I love doing it. I love raising awareness and talking about the issues at hand. I'm glad that my life took this turn. I truly am. I spent a whole lot of my years living very reckless and very dangerous. I spent so many years drinking and drugging like you wouldn't believe. I'm not trying to brag about it. I'm not trying to flex about it, but I was a poor man's Keith Richards in my part of the world. I truly was. That picture I got behind me of Hunter S. Thompson and this tattoo on my arm of buy the ticket and take the ride and this bat tattoo. Yeah, I saw that bat for real. Okay. I lived that life. I pushed it as hard as anyone could. Hunter S. Thompson said the edge, there's no honest way to explain it because the only ones that truly know where it is are the ones who have gone over. And I tried my damnedest to get to that edge. I lived as reckless as possible for the longest time. And then I finally slammed right straight into a wall. And I realized that I had to get my life together or I wasn't going to make it. And I made it. And I'm here now, sitting here talking to you. And I would much rather be talking to you about positive things. I would much rather be talking to you about progress. I would much rather be talking to you about what a great idea some politician had or a president had or some great bill that was on the table that could make all of our lives better. But instead, I'm sitting here talking to you all about an idiot who wants to have measles parties for kids. This is not evolution. We're devolving. We're going to hell in a handbasket. Merle Haggard said, "Are we rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell?" Yeah, Merle, we are. We're tanking right in front of the entire world. We're a laughingstock now on the world stage because we got morons like that in charge, flexing and wearing their goofy red hats, which just took the place of the red armband. Let's be realistic here. These are the people now leading our lives. If you're going to take care of your children, you're going to have to really work hard at it. You're going to have to really work overtime to protect your kids because RFK Jr. sure as hell ain't going to do it. He's just going to read some quote in some study he read on the internet like your other drunk uncle. That's all he's going to do. And I don't even want to really say that Marjorie Taylor Greene would be your drunk aunt or your crazy cousin because I got some crazy cousins. Ain't none of them can hold Marjorie Taylor Greene a lot to see by. These are the people that are now in charge. These are the people that Donald Trump said, have fun with it, Bobby. Go have fun with health. And that's the same guy that staged a Cubs death and done all this ridiculous stuff and was a heroin addict for all these years. And I'm not throwing shade at heroin addicts. I've done drugs myself. I've been addicted myself. You can turn your life around and live for the better. But RFK Jr. has definitely bought into every batshit conspiracy theory. And everybody that surrounds Donald Trump buys into that stuff. And so now, as we work to protect and keep our kids safe, we drop them off at school every day. We've had to drop them off at school for years, wondering if they'd make it back home or wondering if they ended up losing their life in a school shooting. We've had that dark cloud hanging over our head for years. And now we're going to have to worry, well, I hope they don't get the measles. And I hope somebody don't invite my kid to a party and forget to tell me it's a measles party. This should just be a ridiculous clip like in a satirical show. I used to love the show, still do. They don't make it anymore. But Mr. Show with Bob and David, Bob Odenkirk and David Cross, I love that. This should just be a ridiculous clip that Bob Odenkirk was playing, and I promise you he could nail it. It would be great. We would all be laughing. But instead, it's reality. It is the cold, hard truth of where we're at. And I feel like we have to continue to talk about these issues as batshit as they are, because somebody, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene's too bad, man. Okay. Well, if your kid dies of measles, we tried to warn you that this was the kind of moron you was following after. I just can't believe that we're here. Actually, in some ways, I guess I can, because you would think that society would get smarter and we would get better and we would do better. But the people at the top in charge realize that if they gave the platforms to the uneducated, the poorly educated, love the poorly educated, they realized that they gave the platform to people like that would be the easiest people to manipulate. I will always say that. The reason why Elon turned over X to all of the Nazis and the racists and all the vile, disgusting crap is because those are the easiest people to lead and manipulate, and he can cut them loose anytime he wants. And Trump did the same thing. He preyed upon people who he could use and abuse and toss to the curb when he was done. And he don't care if your kid dies of measles and he's got some crazy person out there telling you to send your kid to a measles party. And that's where we're at in 2025. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't like reading these stories to you, but I feel like we need to keep our eye on the ball. And we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on our children because we have got some insane people in charge of their health now.